Let me ask you something. When the world looks back on 2025, will your name be remembered as someone who stepped up or someone who stayed silent? Because here's the truth. We're no longer living in a time where talent alone wins. We're living in a time where the world is hungry, starving for real leaders. Not managers, not influencers, leaders. Leaders who can cut through the noise, who can stand tall in chaos, who can hold the line when others fold. You see, leadership is not about a title. It's not about popularity, and it's definitely not about permission. Leadership is a decision. It's a commitment to rise every damn day when most people hit snooze on their potential. The truth is, most people won't lead, not because they can't, but because they've been taught to settle, taught to follow, taught to wait for certainty, approval, or the right time. But not you, not anymore. If you're here, if you can hear my voice right now, it's because something inside you knows you're meant for more. You're not here to fit in. You're here to rise. You're not here to survive 2025. You're here to lead in it. But here's the truth that no one's telling you. Leadership in 2025 is different. What worked 10 years ago won't cut it today. The world has changed. People have changed. The rules have changed. If you don't evolve, you'll be left behind, and so will your impact. So today, I'm going to give you the key solutions, not theories, not fluff, the real raw tools that the strongest leaders are using to rise in this new world. If you want to influence people, dominate in your field, and build something that lasts, then don't just listen to this, commit to it. This is not motivation. This is transformation. Are you ready to become the kind of leader the world can't ignore? Then lean in, because we're just getting started. Let me tell you something that most people never hear. Before you can ever lead a team, an organization, a movement, you have to first lead the person you see in the mirror every morning. That's where it all begins. That's the real battlefield. You don't become a leader when someone gives you a title. You become a leader the moment you take full responsibility for your internal world. Because in 2025, life is coming at us fast. Distractions are at an all-time high. Emotions are running wild. People are triggered, reactive, uncertain. And if you don't control your emotional state will control you. And when that happens, you can't lead anyone. You're stuck in survival mode. You're reacting instead of responding. And no one follows a leader who is emotionally unpredictable. Emotional self-leadership is about mastering how you show up no matter what's going on around you. It's about being grounded when everyone else is panicking. It's about holding your center when the pressure mounts. Leaders don't get to fall apart every time things don't go their way. They have to stand strong, even when the storm is real, especially when the storm is real. But here's the trap. We've been conditioned to think that our emotions are automatic, that they just happen to us. That's a lie. Your emotions are habits. And like any, they can be changed, trained, transformed. You can decide to upgrade your emotional software. You can choose power over panic, courage over fear, focus over distraction. But that takes work. That takes ownership. That takes you being honest about where you're at and who you want to become. Let me make this personal for a second. Every leader you admire, the ones who stand tall no matter what, the ones who radiate confidence and clarity, they didn't start that way. They weren't born with that energy. They built it, they conditioned it, they chose it day after day, moment by moment. They got to a point where they said, no more. I don't live at the mercy of my emotions. I lead them. And when you can do that, when you can wake up in the morning and decide how you're going to feel, what energy you're going to bring, and who you're going to be, you become dangerous in the best possible way. Because now you're not being driven by your environment. You're not waiting for the world to make you feel good. You're not waiting for things to be easy before you show up strong. You bring your state with you. That's what separates real leaders from the rest. In 2025, people don't just follow intelligence, they follow energy. They follow presence. And if your presence is scattered, anxious, that's what you'll multiply around you. But if your presence is powerful, focused, intentional, people will feel that. And they'll follow you even into uncertainty. So if you want to lead this year, I mean, truly lead, start by asking yourself, who's really in charge of me? Is it my past, my emotions, my doubts, or is it the version of me that knows who I am and what I stand for? Because leadership doesn't start on the outside, it starts inside. And it starts right now. Most people walking around today have goals. That's not special. Anyone can sit down and make a list of things they want: a better job, more money, more respect, a house, a car, a title. But goals are limited. Goals are just targets. What makes a real leader stand out, what makes people stop and pay attention, is vision. Vision is the difference between someone who simply exists and someone who builds something that matters. See, goals are about what you want. Vision is about something bigger than you. It's about a mission, a purpose, a future that pulls you forward so powerfully that it doesn't matter how tired you are, how tough the road gets, or how many people doubt you, because the vision won't let you quit. The vision is louder than the noise. When you only operate from goals, you're chasing results. When you operate from vision, you're building a legacy. And here's the secret. People don't follow goals. They follow vision. Your team, your audience, your clients, they're not inspired by your desire to hit a number. They want to be part of something meaningful. They want to feel like their life is connected to something significant, something real, something lasting. And the leader who paints that vision with clarity, with energy, with conviction, that's the leader they'll run through walls for. But you can't fake this. Vision isn't a motivational quote or some corporate mission statement printed on a wall. Vision comes from your core. It comes from your pain, your purpose, your values, your life experience. It comes from what you believe this world should look like and what you're willing to do to make that happen. It's personal, it's spiritual, it's emotional. And when you speak it from that place, people feel it. In 2025, we're in a world that's starving for direction. People don't know who to trust. Institutions are breaking down. Attention is scattered. And in the middle of all that chaos, a leader with a clear, powerful vision becomes a lighthouse, a signal, a guidepost. If you want to stand out this year, stop chasing short-term wins and start building long-term vision. Now, let me challenge you. If I sat down with you right now and asked, what is your vision? Could you answer me without hesitation? Could you look me in the eye and tell me what you're building, why it matters, who it's for, and what the world looks like when you succeed? Could you describe it so clearly that I'd feel it in my bones? If not, it's time to get honest. Because without vision, you'll drift. You'll grind endlessly and still feel empty. You'll achieve goals and still feel lost. You don't need more motivation. You need a reason that burns so deep inside you that it wakes you up in the morning and keeps you moving through the fire. And here's the best part. You don't need to have it all figured out right now. Vision evolves. It expands as you grow. But you have to start somewhere. You have to dare to imagine something bold enough, big enough, real enough that it scares you and excites you at the same time. That's how you know it's the right one. So stop thinking small. Stop hiding behind what's realistic. Start speaking your vision out loud. Start building it, living it, sharing it, and watch what happens when the right people start showing up to help you make it real. Because when your vision is clear, your path is unstoppable. One of the biggest lies people believe about leadership is that it's all about having the right answers or making the right moves. But I'll tell you what actually separates a powerful leader from the rest. It's not just knowledge. It's not even just strategy. It's the ability to communicate with certainty and empathy at the same time. That combination is magnetic. That combination is rare. And in 2025, it's absolutely non-negotiable. Certainty alone isn't enough. You can speak with force, with conviction, but if people don't feel seen, if they don't feel heard, they won't follow you. On the flip side, empathy without certainty just creates emotional noise. People might like you, but they won't trust you to lead them through a storm. You need both. You need the strength to project confidence and the presence to create connection. You gotta be the voice that calms the chaos and the one that calls people to rise above it. People are not just listening to what you say anymore. They're tuning into how you say it, where it's coming from, and whether you actually believe it. The world is more emotionally intelligent than ever before. They can smell fake from a mile away. So when you speak, it's not about using the perfect words. It's about embodying truth. If your words and your energy don't line up, nobody buys it. But when they do, when what you say and who you are become one and the same, that's when people move. It's about being present. That's what empathy really is. Presence. When someone's talking to you, are you actually listening or just waiting for your turn to speak? When you walk into a room, do you notice the energy or are you locked in your own head? A real leader walks in and feels the temperature of the space before saying a word. They don't just throw out messages. They tune into the moment and speak into what people need, not just what they plan to say. And when you speak with that level of awareness, people listen differently. They lean in, they trust you, and trust is the currency of leadership. Without it, you're broke, no matter how smart, experienced, or well-positioned you are. When people trust you, they'll follow you through uncertainty, through conflict, through change, but they only trust you when they believe you see them, not just talk at them. This isn't about being soft. This is about being real. In 2025, we've moved beyond robotic, mechanical leadership. The age of command and control is over. Now people are led by those who speak to the heart and the mind. And when you can stand in front of someone and say, I see where you're coming from, I hear you, I believe in you, but I'm not going to let you settle, that's when transformation happens. Some of you have the strength, but you haven't allowed the vulnerability. And some of you have the heart, but you haven't practiced the confidence. You need both. When those two meet, when certainty and empathy lock in, you become unstoppable. You speak not just to be heard, but to ignite something. You communicate not to impress, but to move people. You lead not just with logic, but with truth. And that kind of leadership doesn't just inspire action, it creates loyalty, belief, momentum. Because in the end, it's not about talking louder, it's about speaking deeper. Every leader eventually comes to a crossroads, a moment where the pressure is heavy, the stakes are high, and the noise from the world is louder than the voice within. And in that moment, you've got two choices. You either make your decisions from power or you make them from pressure. And let me tell you something that most people never figure out. That one decision changes everything. Pressure is real. I'm not going to stand here and pretend it's not. Pressure is the deal. Deadlines, expectations, money, people counting on you, it's all there. And for most people, pressure crushes them. They freeze, they fold, they start making choices based on fear, not faith. They react instead of respond. They play defense, they go small. And what they don't realize is every time they make a decision from that place, they're giving away their leadership piece by piece, day by day, until they've got nothing left to give. But real leaders, the ones who rise above, they understand that pressure is just part of the test, and they use it. They lean into it. They don't run from it. They channel it. Because pressure will either expose your weakness or reveal your strength, depending on where you're operating from internally. And that's the key. Leadership starts inside. It always has. You can't lead powerfully if you're constantly waiting for the world to be easy. You can't show up strong if you need every condition to be perfect. In 2025, things are moving faster than ever. The economy shifts, technology evolves, opinions fly at you from every angle. If you don't have a foundation inside that's stronger than the chaos outside, you're not going to last. You'll burn out, give in, or disappear. But if you build that internal power, that unshakable core, you become the kind of person who makes hard decisions stands firm in uncertainty, and keeps momentum when everyone else is stuck. Making decisions from power doesn't mean you always know what to do. It means you trust yourself even when you don't have all the answers. It means you operate from principle, not pressure, from clarity, not confusion, from alignment, not anxiety. You slow down when it matters. You ask better questions. You don't get baited into noise. You don't let fear be the loudest voice in the room. And here's the truth most people avoid. The stronger you become, the more pressure you're going to feel. That's not a punishment. It's confirmation. Pressure isn't a sign you're failing. It's a sign you're growing. You don't build leadership in calm waters. You build it in the storm. You forge it in the fire. You earn it when things are unclear, when doubt creeps in, and you still choose to move forward. That's power. And when you lead from that place, people feel it. They can't always explain it, but they trust it. Because there's something about someone who doesn't flinch when others panic. Something about someone who makes bold moves with calm energy. It gives others permission to do the same. It creates stability. It builds momentum. And that's what people crave today. Not just someone who leads when it's easy, but someone who stands tall when it's hard. So if you're feeling the weight, good. That means you're in the game. That means you're exactly where you're supposed to be. But don't let the pressure define you. Let it refine you. Let it call you to something higher. Because the next level of your leadership doesn't come from avoiding pressure. It comes from owning your power in the middle of it. One of the greatest shifts in leadership today, and especially in 2025, is this. Leadership is no longer about how much control you have. It's about how much impact you create by multiplying the people around you. If you're still trying to micromanage, still trying to control every detail, still needing to be the smartest person in every room, you're not leading, you're limiting, and you're suffocating the very thing that could make your mission unstoppable. The old model of leadership said, do it my way, follow my orders, stay in your lane. That model is dead. It doesn't inspire, it doesn't build trust, and it sure doesn't scale. The new model of leadership says, let me make you stronger. Let me build you up. Let me help you discover how powerful you are, because that's the real measure of a leader. Not how many people follow you, but how many people rise because of you. You have to get this deep in your bones. Leadership is not about creating dependence. It's about creating independence. It's about creating leaders beneath you who are more skilled, more courageous, more equipped than they ever thought possible. And to do that, you've got to let go of your ego. You've got to stop being the bottleneck. Stop being the only one with the answers. Start creating space for others to step into their power, even if they do things differently than you would. I know how hard that is, especially when you've built something with your blood, sweat, and soul. You care. You want it done right. But if you don't learn how to release control and start trusting the people you've brought into your vision, you'll always be the ceiling. You'll always be the reason things stay small. And I don't care how talented you are, you will burn out trying to do it all yourself. The greatest gift you can give the people around you is belief. Let them know you see their potential, not just in words, but in actions. Give them responsibility. Give them ownership. Let them fall and learn and grow. That's how they build muscle. That's how they become resilient. And that's how your influence multiplies. Because now it's not just your energy driving things forward, it's theirs too. You gotta stop thinking like a player and start thinking like a coach. A player focuses on their own performance. A coach is focused on building a winning team. And that's your job now. Build a team so strong they don't need you in every room. Create systems, culture, and trust that can run with or without you. That's what makes a movement sustainable. And don't make the mistake of thinking this is only about business. This is in families. This is in communities. This is in every relationship you lead. The people closest to you, your kids, your spouse, your team, your friends. They don't need you to be perfect. They need you to see them, to empower them, to unlock them. And when you lead like that, when you make it your mission to multiply others instead of manage them, that's when everything changes. You want to know what creates loyalty? It's not titles. It's not paychecks. It's the way you made someone feel when they were around you. Did you make them feel capable? Did you challenge them? Did you elevate them? Or did you shrink them to protect your own comfort? The truth is, your real legacy isn't what you build. It's who you build. Let's get real. The world is changing faster than ever. What worked last year may already be irrelevant today. And if you're trying to lead in 2025 using tools, beliefs, and patterns from 5 years ago, you're not leading, you're surviving. You're holding on to a version of yourself that no longer fits the game we're playing now. And the hard truth is, if you don't adapt, if you don't evolve, you will be left behind. Not because you're not capable, but because you're stuck in an identity that no longer serves where you're trying to go. Adaptability is not a soft skill anymore. It's the survival code of leaders. The ones who grow, the ones who win, the ones who make lasting impact, is they aren't attached to being right. They're obsessed with becoming better. They don't fear change, they feed on it. They've trained their nervous system to lean into what's unfamiliar, uncomfortable, unpredictable, because they know that's where their next level lives. But let me make something clear. Adapting doesn't mean compromising your values. It doesn't mean becoming fake or chasing trends or trying to please everyone. What it means is having the courage to question your habits, your assumptions, your way of doing things, and upgrade when necessary. Most people don't do that. Most people cling to what's comfortable, even when it's no longer working. They'd rather stay safe in failure than risk discomfort and growth. And that's exactly why they never lead. A true leader is a learner, and not just when it's convenient. A real leader is learning in the middle of the chaos, in the middle of the uncertainty, in the middle of the pressure. They're reading, observing, adjusting. They're asking better questions. They're surrounding themselves with people who challenge their thinking. They're not trying to be the smartest in the room. They're trying to keep growing so they can keep serving. You can't afford to be outdated in this world. The speed of change is brutal, but it's also beautiful because it means that every single day is a chance to reinvent, a chance to get sharper, a chance to break the mold. And if you're willing to release your attachment to how things used to be, you open yourself to what could be. That's where leadership lives now. Think about this. Everything in nature that survives, from the tiniest organisms to the most powerful animals, has one thing in common: adaptability. The strongest doesn't always win. The smartest doesn't always win. The most adaptive wins. The one who can shift gears, rewire strategy, stay fluid while staying grounded. That's what makes someone unstoppable. So ask yourself right now, what am I holding on to that's slowing me down? What belief, what routine, what outdated process have I made sacred just because it worked in the past? And more importantly, what needs to evolve inside me for my leadership to thrive in the world that's coming, not just the one that's gone? Because here's the bottom line. Leadership is not a position. It's a practice. And in 2025, that practice is constant adaptation, not random change, not reacting out of fear, strategic, aligned, intentional evolution every single day. The leaders who win now are not the ones shouting the loudest. They're the ones learning the fastest.